I can't hear you.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Mouse Minds. We are here for you live on YouTube. We are here for you live on Facebook and Twitch as well. I got a second chance there with that because I didn't have my mic on for the first. I'm a little rusty, but I'm getting back in the swing of things. Um, so yeah, we are back. I apologize for the hiatus there. I actually had was in a car accident and I'm fine now. I'm better now, but
I'm
it
glad
was
you're fine. I'm really glad you're fine.
it was an ordeal, but we are back now. Everything is back in order and we are good to go. And we close are getting a lot closer to the opening of Epic Universe. Previews are happening, and I just purchased my pass holder preview tickets today, so I will be going there on May 3rd, and I'm extremely excited. And we'll talk more about that in a minute here. But I wanted to kick things off here. Luella is actually excited for something coming up that's a little bit sooner than the opening of um, Epic Universe. So that would be the Disneyland 70th. And I know the title for this thing is a little off. I didn't know where we'd go with this podcast, but I'll adjust after we do the live recording. But we're going to talk first about the Disneyland 70th, and I see there's a lot of amazing things coming up, for the park itself. We're definitely it looks like we're getting a new parade, a new nighttime spectacular, excuse me, which is awesome. And other things. I'll let Luella kind of talk about that.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for you and your coast for Epic Universe. I look forward to seeing that in the
Yes.
future, but not going to see that in the near future because I'm here in the West. So it takes a lot of planning for me to head over there. But what's exciting for us over here in the West is Disneyland sure knows how to throw a anniversary celebration.
Mhm.
They do it very well, and Disneyland 70th is not gonna is just going to be just the same and even better. They're going to have a lot of excitement, and although Disneyland's birthday is in July 17, the celebration is actually going to start May 16. And so it's coming. It's about like a little over a month away. And so I'm really excited about that. I'm excited to see the characters' new costumes. I love characters. My favorite parade ever, night parade, is called Paint the Night. And that,
Yes.
yes, and Paint the Night is coming back. And that one really gives me the feels. Like once the music starts, I love it.
Mhm.
But of course, in the other park at DCA, World of Color, if you haven't catched it, is amazing. And they're going
Mhm.
to add an interactive feature where you can kind of vote on which emotion you want highlighted.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's a lot of interaction
That's
that's going to
interesting.
happen at this with this Disneyland 70th. There's this excitement on these magic like interactive keys. We were just talking before about the Magic Band, and it's available here, Magic Band Plus, but it's not something
Mhm.
that I think a lot of people use
Of
because we
course.
we love our phones, but they're going to give you some perks if you have your Magic Band, and I think that some of them uh, may just entice some people to purchase their Magic Band so that you can have some interaction with some of the different kind of attractions available. Yeah, you think you're going to make it out here for our 70th?
I mean, it's next year, absolutely, definitely, on the books for sure. I haven't been out. Oh my god, I don't even know the last time I went out to Anaheim. So it's
Mhm.
it's it's time. I need to make it back out there at least for to make it out. And then of course there's other things I want to do out there too, like knots and
Oh
things
yeah.
like that. So and I really want to go to Hollywood for that matter. I know it's not the most amazing place in the world, but I still want to see it. I've never been. So
Oh, the actual city, like Hollywood.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So
You know what? There's a lot. I mean, LA is a fantastic,
mhm,
basic, all kinds of things to see. Just don't do it alone. I'll help you.
yeah, I would appreciate that. I mean, I've driven through it. I just never like
Yeah,
stopped.
I
So
know all the different perks and sites. I mean, because I live out here, but yeah, I wouldn't really want anyone to go there, like commute there alone. It's just not.
Yeah, yeah, I I've seen videos.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah,
Watch
come on over to Disneyland 70th as more. They're slowly releasing more and more um, sneak peeks and content, and I think
Mhm.
it's it's exciting. And we don't have Universal's is not expanding over here like over there, so this is kind of like the big thing that's coming for the West Coast.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have the land over there to really expand. I mean, they are on a movie theater backlot, so basically, so it's different over here. We have the land to do it, but definitely excited. I mean, Disneyland is Disneyland. It's amazing. I mean, just thinking about the history while you're walking around, and then you know, Disneyland, the park. I mean, it feels like it's kind of like a maze in a good way because you go to one section and then you fall into another section and, it just you get lost, but you really get immersed in the story there. So, I have a very Epcot will always be my favorite, but Disneyland's, right there my second. It's a lot of fun. I've
Yeah.
been out there
And
numerous times.
there's as I'm looking on their Instagram, there's a 2-hour walking tour. The story is celebration of the 70th anniversary, which I'm
Oh,
actually
wow.
really excited. I want to take that tour. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to book that and see, because
That's
that's a nice thing too. It's an old park. It was born in the 50s, so there's a lot of history there.
Yeah, that's amazing that they do that because, you know, we used to have way more tours out here. Now we basically just have the keys to the kingdom, but we used to have an awesome backstage tour that would take you backstage at basically all the parks. It was like a whole day excursion, which I unfortunately never did, but always wanted to.
Mhm.
And I'm kind of bummed I didn't because it's no longer available. But it's nice to see things like that. I love those tours. I know, it's kind of a niche audience because most people just want to go to the parks and do the rides and stuff. But I love those behind the scenes tours, the Walk with Walt tour or Walk in Walt's footsteps. Um, that stuff is just amazing to me. So the more they do, the better, honestly.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I am sharing here. Super excited, and I'll give you a review after I check out the 70th.
So we kinda with this one, you touched on magic bands and things like that. It's always been different between, um, the East Coast and the West Coast because they're 2 different types of people that go to those parks. You have you have more locals at, Disneyland than you
Mhm.
do
Yeah,
at Walt Disney World, so it's a different experience. I've been kinda curious, um, when it comes to, like, things like tech things, like you said you guys don't really do Magic Bands other than Magic Band Plus, which is fun, but, I mean, for us over here on this coast, they hyped it up and did a lot of stuff with it for a shorter period of time there, and now with, the iPhone app, you don't really need to have a Magic Band unless you want something that lights up, and they've
yeah.
kind of stopped doing that. Is that the same over there too?
Magic Band Plus or the Magic Band over here came a lot later
Yeah.
than when it came to Walt Disney World. And I remember when we visited, this was a long time ago, they used to provide it for free
Mhm.
if you stayed on their property. And I don't think they do that anymore. But they kind of implemented Magic Band Plus over here at the same time they started implementing the Magic Band on the Disney cruise.
Mhm.
Because I
Okay.
took the Wonder uh, out of San Diego over here, and it was the first weekend of the Magic Band. And so I just used my Disneyland Magic Band there on the cruise, and that was nice.
Mhm.
And I can see the benefit because it's so easy to open your door
Yep.
and pictures. But here, if when you're local, I'm not staying in a hotel,
Yeah.
and yeah, I can use it to enter. That is kind of it. So, but what's neat is I forget that it's on, and then I exit Haunted Mansion, and it's like, oh, look at that, there's a heartbeat, or I'm watching Phantasmic. Oh, look at that, the lights are coloring.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
it still interacts and it still does some
Mhm.
things, but it's not necessary.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of like I was mentioning before. They're advertising the one that says the 70th,
Mhm.
so that's nice. Sometimes people have characters and they love to do it, so it almost seems a little bit more of like a fashion statement,
Mhm.
almost like ears, like
Yeah.
something that, like, it's personal to you.
Mhm.
But I think in general, I'm still using my phone. I
Yeah.
like my phone.
Well, you do most things from your phone. I mean, you can't make a at least at Walt Disney World, you can't make a dining reservation on your Magic Band.
Yes.
So, it's it's one of those things where you wind up doing everything on your phone, and when you have one device that can do everything, why would you have a second one that does something that your phone already does? It's less to carry. But I do agree with you, it is a fashion statement. I mean, I used to wear mine all the time. I just wear it even if I wasn't going. Generally, I would go, but even if I wasn't going, I'd wear it. But it's so much easier now just to have everything. I mean, all the theme parks in Orlando, Universal, uh, well, not Universal, but SeaWorld and Disney. Well, Universal, SeaWorld, and Disney all have a way to get into the parks with your phone. Actually, Universal now, they don't even they don't I don't even think they scan your pass anymore because
Mm,
they have a system that scans your face like a Face
facial
ID.
recognition. Yeah.
Yeah, facial recognition, and it just lets you into the park based off of that. They recently I think the last time I went, which was not that long ago, um, maybe like a month or 2 ago, they had that in place, so you don't even have to, scan your ticket to get in, which is awesome. But they do have the option in the app, or they did have the option in the app where you can scan it from the app. And of course,
Mhm.
SeaWorld, I have it on my watch, what's the other one? Disney Experience, I have or Disney, I have that on my watch as well, so it's easy just to tap, and it's basically the same thing as a Magic Band, you tap to get in. So,
So are you saying you're not wearing a Magic Band anymore?
I don't even know what's crazy? I was thinking about this the other day. I literally, when Magic Band first came out, I stayed at one of the resorts just
Mhm.
to get a Magic Band.
Oh.
And now I have no interest in it whatsoever, and I see them selling Magic Band products
Yeah.
and Magic Band Plus products like, the Emporium, and I'm
Yeah.
like, "Who's buying this?"
Yeah, I wonder that too, like, who's buying it? I How about when you see, when you're at the parks, and do you see people wearing it? Do you see people having Magic
I
Bands?
mean, I see some people just because here we had those 50th statues that you could wave
Okay.
your arm in the air and it would make sounds, which they never really worked right. You had to kinda,
Yeah.
like, jump up and down
Yeah.
and wave, and I always felt like I looked like a buffoon just
Yes.
waving my
It's
arm
kinda
in the
like
air
the
like this.
wand, right, at Universal? It's like they're trying
Exactly.
to, yeah.
I mean, now, you know, things have gotten better,
Mhm.
especially with the wands. But yeah, you still have to wave, and it's
Yeah.
just I mean, I don't even know if they still use it with the fireworks because we had ours, of course, the fireworks here. It would light up different colors and things like that. I'm not even sure they do that anymore, and I don't see why they would because they're not really selling. I don't see too many arms with those. I mean, I see a couple like I see like
Uh-huh.
I see families doing it, and it makes sense because they have kids that are, separate. It's their ticket to get in the park. They can
Yeah.
also charge things to their room. That makes sense. If they run to the churro stand and want to get a churro, they tap and they're good to go because
Yeah.
they may not have a phone with Apple Pay. I mean, of course, Disney takes Apple Pay too, or whatever you use, Samsung Pay, whatever it is you use. Um, but but yeah, I can see that, as why there might be more Magic Bands over here. But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't
Because like, even
don't.
here, we can't even pay with it.
Oh wow, that's
You
crazy.
can't There's really not much to do with it, so that's why I think with
Mhm.
the 70th, they have some interactive features,
Mhm.
that maybe will force people to utilize a magic band so that you can participate in that.
Mhm.
But we just don't have the technology. I don't know. That's just, I think when magic bands were first implemented, it's a great, it's a great aspect, right? You wear this
Mhm.
and stuff, but the phones have just gotten much more interactive
Yeah.
now, so
Well, that and then all the benefits, yeah, you're right, all the benefits of the Magic Band are on your phone, like,
yeah.
one of the big benefits that, has gotten a lot better is on-ride photos. You used to have to wear your Magic Band on the
Um,
ride,
yeah.
and it would, automatically or auto-magically transmit your photo, your ride photo from the ride to your Magic Band, so you'd have it in your photo pass. Whereas now and in the past, they've had the phone system for a while where you can, like, I'm assuming it uses Bluetooth or something like that,
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
low energy Bluetooth or one of those things, I don't know, to do that, but, it hasn't worked very well. There'd be a lot of times I'd go on the ride and I'd never get my photo, and
Mhm.
now they've gotten a lot better at it, so the photos do show up, and it's pretty much instantaneously. Now, sometimes you wind up with something that's not your photo, but they also still have the screens outside of the attractions over here where you can tap your watch or your phone and collect your photo that way. So there's backup options, but they're slowly phasing the,
Yeah.
backup options
The
out. But
technology just gets better and better,
yeah,
right? So,
it's amazing what you can do inside the app now. There's just
yeah.
so much. I mean, I when I was a kid, the coolest thing in the world was going to Epcot and, doing the, world key, at Spaceship Earth and having a video chat with someone, making reservations the day that you're there on
Oh,
a video chat with someone, saying, "I wanna eat in Japan for dinner," or whatever else it may have been, but picking your country and having some sort of video chat, and this was, like, what, late '80s, early '90s, and that was, like, the coolest thing in the world, and now I just have this thing in my pocket that does
oh,
everything for me, and I'm like, "Man, when I was a kid, I thought this was the
yeah,
hottest thing since sliced bread, and now it's not it's nothing." So it's crazy to think about, things like that, but yeah, the app is incredible. The only Disney app that I know a lot of people use that I personally am not really a fan of is the Disney Play app. I know
mm,
a lot of people like that over here at least because there are some, like, interactive things in Epcot, or there were, I don't know if they still are going, where you could play some games and things would pop out of the different countries and
yeah.
things like
I
that.
actually play that. I like that.
Mhm.
We have 2, I don't know if they have that at Walt Disney World, but we have 2 kind of fortune tellers. And,
Okay.
over here, there's one on Main Street, and there's one on, it's like, that the one that moves
The
and then,
Zoltar, like a
yeah,
Zoltar.
Zoltar, yes, yes,
Yep.
it's kinda like that. There's a pirate and Pirates near Pirates of the Caribbean, and then there's the lady that does your fortune, but if you have the Play Disney app, you get a fortune, and that's free
Yeah.
each place, and so, I actually like it. There's also some secrets that not a lot of people do, and sometimes I'll do
Mm.
it, and they don't realize that I'm the one doing it because I'm doing it for the Play Disney app. But this, I think that's the benefit, for example, like, because I'm an annual pass holder or a Magic
Mhm.
Key, that goes a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think sometimes just the person that's going once is not gonna go on the Play Disney app.
Yeah.
And then there was a time I was so big on trying to collect the little, I don't know, you get like a little medal or there are things. I still try to
Mhm.
collect things.
I get it. I get
Yeah.
it.
So virtual,
Virtual items.
yeah, virtual items.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, that it's changed a lot. I know we started with interactive cues. That was kind of the start of the Disney Plus app, at least
mhm,
on this coast, because we had games actually inside the queue, which we still kind of in like Soarin', for example, there's a game on the giant screens when you're in line, and you play Disney Play on your phone, but it puts the score on the giant screen while you're waiting in line. So those things are definitely interesting, but we we morphed into the Disney Play app now, and people seem to really. I mean, between that and Heads Up, that's what's keeping
Oh,
people
that's so
sane
yeah.
in the lines.
Well, the Play Disney, because I did do the Galactic Star Cruiser. That was
Mhm.
the Play Disney app was everything on that Star Cruiser.
Yeah.
And then you would collect your little medals and stuff. So I remember I was like, I need to in the short time I'm here, I need to collect them all. Like you
Yeah.
go.
And good thing you did because
I know.
so yeah, it's definitely interesting to see it. It's definitely will be interesting to see what comes in the future with the apps and such because now with the invention of AI and things like that and generative AI, we could potentially be in situations with attractions where we could almost um, they could create an attraction where we have our pick of how it goes or some sort of generative AI creating images or whatever, on the fly, depending on
Mhm.
what attraction we're looking for. So there's all kinds of different new technologies, augmented reality, of course. That's kind of what they use with the Mario Kart ride. They used an augmented
Oh yeah.
reality for that. So it's there's a lot of cool stuff coming out. Of course, we're seeing a lot of patents from Disney. The new mat that they made, where you can basically be like shifted around on like a floor, and it has the tiles that kind of move you around. So there is a lot of cool stuff. And Disney is like I can't remember the guy's name, who created the mat, but he is cranking out so many patents, and there's so many things in the work. It's
Mm,
gonna be amazing to see, what they come up with in the future. And between that and now, Universal is really trying to, step up big. I mean,
yeah.
I believe it was just announced today, the, Universal is coming to, Great Britain. Um, they've actually announced, when it's gonna let's see, I think they said 2031. There's gonna be Universal Studios Great Britain. So
Wow.
they're really expanding too,
Mhm.
into those areas as well. So, we the two major players are really trying to innovate,
Mhm.
and we'll talk a little bit about that more too when we talk about Epic Universe and what I've been told from because my brother actually went last week. He's already been. He went last Thursday. So um, kind of the things that he's seen, and of course my uh, preview is coming up in May 3rd. So it's a really exciting time for theme parks. Where there's a lot of amazing stuff. 10 year a lot of the tech that was cool 10 years ago has evolved and really morphed into amazing stuff. For example, the KUKA arms, the KUKA robotic arms,
Mhm.
for we had with Some of All Thrills at Epcot. That's kind of where it started, and now that morphed into the Harry Potter ride at Hogwarts in Orlando, and now that's morphed into I believe that's what's going to do the Tony Stark attraction, the
Oh,
Iron Man attraction.
yeah. And that's
Um,
similar to we have something like that at Legoland.
okay.
Exactly like what it's gonna be at the Tony Stark thing. So which means I am not riding that. That makes me sick.
Well, they had that, and then, of course, we have over here, with Epic Universe, the Monsters Unchained ride,
Mhm.
which I've heard is a KUKA arm as well. So, and
Did you know, side note, when you how the Hogwarts ride opened up here in California,
mhm,
it was 3D and it made too many people throw up that they made it back to 2D.
yeah,
And
I
I
remember
remember
that.
because I wrote it in Orlando and then
Yeah,
I wrote it in here and I was like, I do not feel good.
yeah,
I didn't throw up, but then the next time we went, like, "What happened to all the 3D glasses?" They're like, "Oh,
yeah.
yeah, no, it just" so sometimes it can just be too much, and if you just yeah.
But at least they're trying. So
At least they
that's
tried it, yeah.
I mean, they have other attractions that are motion based that are 3D like Spider-Man and things like that, that don't get people sick, but being on that arm and
Yeah.
flying around as much as you do, and the range of motion that you have, which I didn't really notice. I've never really noticed how much motion you have on the Harry Potter attraction, Forbidden Journey, until I went with my daughter, because
Oh,
I convinced her to go, and so did the nice, team member, in front of the attraction. We convinced her to ride the attraction because, in my head, it's nothing. You're just kind of floating around. And then, we get on the attraction, and, she did not have a good time. So I
well, I mean,
and
that's
and
a
and
good
and
part.
while I'm riding it, trying to comfort her, I'm thinking, "Wow, this really moves you around a lot." I
Oh,
never I never realized this. I felt so bad. Yeah, I mean, those kook arms, and that's we're talking that came out many years ago, so that is we have way more advanced versions of that, so I'm really excited to see what they do with the Iron Man attraction. I believe it's Iron Man, right? Yeah, it's Iron Man. Um,
mhm,
in California Adventure, and then I'm excited to see what they've done out here with, Monsters Unchained.
mhm.
It'll be really awesome to see all of those, attractions because there are some really cool, new ride technologies coming out. We're even getting at SeaWorld here, we're getting a flying theater, which like a Soarin' style flying theater, which I'm
Oh,
really
okay.
excited for to see how that technology has evolved because it
Mhm.
kinda started with Soarin' and then has evolved and all these other parks are doing flying theaters, so it'll be very interesting to see, what that's like as well. So lots of, interesting things, coming our way, here. So, I'm really excited for that. So, yeah, Disneyland 70th sounds awesome. You guys are having a fun time out there, while us on the West Coast or on the East Coast are mourning the loss of the riverboats and the Muppets attraction. But we're getting a Doors coaster for Monsters, so I'm kind of okay with it, and we're getting a they're gonna retheme the, Rock and Roller Coaster to Muppets, so I'm okay with
Yeah.
it. I have friends that are not happy with it, but I'm okay with it.
I mean,
We've
there's always gonna be people that really weigh heavily on their nostalgia,
Mhm.
but this is about really being innovative
Yeah,
and it's just a different crowd, like
yeah,
my kids are not don't like the same things that
yeah.
maybe I would like, and why not
Well,
kind of change things up a bit and you're competing against Epic Universe.
yeah.
Really,
Well,
you
not
gotta find a way to bring
well,
people
not
in.
not only that, but the things that wowed us when we were kids
Mhm.
wouldn't necessarily wow someone today because of the advancements in technology that there are. So,
Yeah.
seeing Muppets 3D and seeing things pop out in front of your face and things like that when I was a kid, I was like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen." I mean,
Yeah.
between that, Captain EO, all these other 3D shows, I was like, "Wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen." And then, and then you compare the technology of those shows to what we have now, and you're like, "Wow, how did I think this was cool? If I only would have known what was coming." But yeah, it's definitely, the market for, theme park innovation, I think, is really hot right now because a lot of people are trying to, go crazy and top the next person. But, speaking of that, so let's move on to, Epic Universe. So, I got my tickets today. I have not been. I'm not going to give a review, um, and, nor will I really I want to wait. I mean, I wanna give Universal I've had discussions with this and discussions with other people, about giving a review of Epic Universe because 'cause I've seen a lot of reviews for Epic Universe, but I really don't feel like it's time for that yet because it's not open yet. Everything is still in rehearsals, it's still previews, it's not opening day. I don't want to I feel like it's a disservice to Universal to give finite reviews on everything, just because they're not done yet and things are not completed yet. But what I will say, what I have seen coming out of Epic Universe and what I have been told is nothing short of amazing. Um, and honestly, as amazing as some of these attractions look, the actual attractions themselves, the queues for the attractions look 20 times better. I don't know if you guys have seen, but the uh, the queues for stuff like the Ministry of Magic ride for Harry Potter, um, just look absolutely incredible. Here, I'm gonna
Where
quick.
exactly is Epic Universe located in relation to the two parks now? I'm just
So
trying to
it's
picture
it's
what that.
it's down the road.
Okay.
That sounds really weird, but basically what it is so you have the road, the Universal Boulevard,
Mm-hmm.
um, which basically goes from it basically goes parallel to International Drive in Orlando. If you've been to Orlando before, you know it goes right behind the convention center, Universal Boulevard, and it basically ends at Universal and then starts on the other end, basically by the highway there, which is Highway 528. So it's genius the spot that they picked because they're basically like they just go up the road and they're right there. I mean, you do have to turn off one road to get to the entrance, but it's pretty much right there off Universal Boulevard. So it's connected on that road. So I would say honestly, if you were to take a bus, say from City Walk to Epic Universe, I haven't timed it nor have I tried to do that yet. Um, but I would say maybe 20, 30 minutes at the max to get from park to park. But again, I
So you
haven't.
can't walk there.
Oh no, it's far.
Okay.
It's really far.
And it's not
It's
attached to um City Walk.
no, it's on the almost. It's kind of like on another side of town.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's good for me as reference because I'm not there. I'll probably you only I don't live there, so my reference
Yeah.
point is City Walk, you
I
know.
mean, the road that Universal Boulevard goes, like I said, it runs, there's I believe the entrance to Epic Universe is off Destination Parkway, which connects to Universal Boulevard. So, you go on Destination Parkway and then it's not even, like a block or two, and then you're on Universal Boulevard and you go straight down that and then you're right at Universal. So bus wise, it's fairly quick to get to the other park, but it's kind of like I would say the distance would if I had to do it and say like Disney terms, I would say it's probably like the distance from Magic Kingdom to Epcot if you were to take a bus.
Okay.
So that's about the distance. Maybe a little shorter, maybe a little shorter than that, but it's about that distance. So but it's kind of but the way I mean, basically Universal's in the middle of Orlando. Everything was built around Universal. So they didn't have any other land to expand, so they had to move down the street where there was a big
Hmm.
giant field out there, and that's where they're at right now. And the great thing about the location that they're at is there's plenty of area to expand. So they're already talking about expansions. Like there's already been talk of them moving or adding Zelda to Super Nintendo World. So
Wow.
there's been talks of those future plans and things like that, and so it'll be interesting to see what happens in the future. But I would expect a lot of investment into Epic Universe because they do have a lot of land out there, and
Hmm.
of course they also have out there the two resorts, Selanova, Terra Luna, and then of course I guess it's technically three, and the Helios resort, which is crazy because it's right on Epic Universe property, and it literally has an entrance like the Grand Californian that
Hmm.
goes right into the park. So that is going to be pretty amazing. But I'm curious to see. My curiosity lies people that are staying at let's say the Helios hotel. what is going I mean, of course, they're I would imagine they want to go to the other parks, islands, and Universal Studios, but I wonder how much their interest would be because, I mean, I know me personally, like, if I was there for 3, 4 days and I had that right at my back door, I just wanna go there as much as I could because I don't have to go anywhere, it's right back there.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that goes because like, with Disney, it's different because you're on Disney property. When you take a bus from Magic Kingdom to Epcot, the whole ride you're on Disney property, so you don't feel like you're leaving. When you take that road, which is a normal city road to get from Epic to, say, City Walk, that's a com you feel like you're driving through town to get there. I mean, psychologically, for me at least, I would be like, "Oh my gosh, this feels a lot further than it actually is because I'm
Yeah.
having to drive through town."
I'm sure they'll because they want people to go there. So I'm
Exactly.
sure we're gonna do something. We don't know what yet, but I can't imagine they only want you to just stay at one park. That's going to be the challenge, but like if you're coming from, like from here, we would stay in one hotel and we'd want to have easy access to the other
Yeah,
parks.
yeah. Now the other thing I will say is if you're the the one thing that it does do being out there or being the other thing I'm curious about with Epic now is because they have the 4 parks. They have, Volcano Bay, Islands, Universal Studios, and of course, Epic. I wonder how much that's going to affect Disney because if you're staying on property at Universal, you have that transportation to get to those 2 parks. They don't really they're not going to provide transportation to Disney.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna take the drive out there? Are you gonna rent a car? Are you going to take an Uber to Disney? I mean, the good thing about Disney is, like, let's say you were dropped off on at, like, Disney Springs or something, you could easily use the Disney transportation to get around and go to the different resorts or go to the parks or whatever that may be. So it's not really once you're on property, you're okay, but it's just the fact, are you going to leave that somewhat universal bubble now and go to
Mhm.
Disney?
Yeah.
Now parks like I think personally, I think, um parks like SeaWorld, which are close by to Epic Universe, will as long as they can maintain the quality, which honestly with SeaWorld, it it's sometimes it can be hit or miss. But it's a SeaWorld is a great park, don't get me wrong. I love SeaWorld. I love their mission. I love everything about it, but sometimes when you compare it to the other parks as far as like the cleanliness of the park and things like that, it's not the same as what you'd get inside a Universal or a Disney park, which is I think if they can maintain standards, I
Mhm.
really feel like they can pick up that extra business because people will be almost right next to SeaWorld. So
Yeah.
an Uber from Epic Universe to SeaWorld to ride more and you're talking about people that are going to Universal, they like thrill rides, things like that. So to be able to go, not that far up the street and get some more roller coasters, ride some more roller coasters, I think they would definitely jump at the opportunity to do that if they had like a free day or something like that, versus going to Disney, which is much further away. So I could totally see that happening. But again, you know, they have to maintain the quality and the cleanliness of the park and make sure that the people that come there see that because, you know, and
I
it's
think it
not
just depends on, everybody when they make their vacation, they
Mhm.
have to weigh and see, and there are definitely Disney fans who won't step out of that bubble,
Yeah,
no matter
100%.
what, no matter what. And
Yep.
there's actually when we went, we usually do both. If we go there, we're gonna do Disney and Universal. We never
Mhm.
do SeaWorld. I have a SeaWorld here. So it's like,
Mm,
so I think it just targets different types of people. And it's great that there's different options. And it's great to lessen the crowds, right? Because if everybody just went to one park, my God.
yeah, of course.
So, but so it's just going to target and we make it work, right? Of course,
Yeah.
before with Disney, they want you to stay in their park, but when
Mhm.
once Harry Potter opened up, you couldn't help.
Yeah,
People are going to leave their bubble and go check
of
it out.
course.
So that's why Disney has to find ways to keep them in their park. But it's just so exciting right now. I mean, everything
Mhm.
with Epic, I can't wait to go there. And when we're going to make our trip, believe me, the priority is going to be Epic. It's
And
gonna
and I
be a priority,
and
and as a
you
Disney lover, I'm going to I'm excited to check that out, so
I think that with Epic Universe or with Universal, just this has just been my sort of theory. I think people agree with me, or some people agree with me on this. Is Universal has always been seen as the thrill ride park. Most of the attractions there are your thrill rides for your older kids and people that enjoy thrill rides,
Mhm.
like roller coasters, things like that, where, they have large roller coasters like something like a Rip Ride Rocket or a Velocicoaster or something like that at Universal, and, the craziest roller coaster you'll get at, say, um, Disney is Rock and Roller Coaster,
Yeah.
which compared to what Universal offers, is, it's a little different. So it's always been this thing where like Disney is for families, and there's always been this like thought I think in the back of people's heads, because I've talked to people, they'll tell me their kids have outgrown Disney, now they want to go to Universal,
Yeah.
and it's like Disney is always for the younger kids. I don't agree with that notion. I think Disney is really working hard to get rid of that. They did that very well with things like Tron and Guardians of the Galaxy. Those are 2 amazing thrill rides. I mean, gosh, they just got rid of the virtual queue on Tron or Guardians, and that was like my best day ever because that is such an amazing attraction. Like it is so awesome. So I think they're getting over that. They may not have the big flashy outdoor coasters like Universal does, but I don't think Disney needs that. That it just it in some respects, I as much as I enjoy that, I also enjoy the theming and without having those big coasters there. But
Yeah,
I
well,
do understand
like
why they're
about
there.
storytelling, and if you want uber duper amazing roller coasters, I mean, go to a Six Flags,
Yeah,
That's
yeah, Ride
like,
X
you
too.
want that, like, thrill, like, really just that so every park has what they can,
Mhm.
I think Universal's really upped their game on storytelling, so
Yeah, in this picture right here, that I'm about to put on the screen for those of you watching live of the Ministry of Magic queue really proves that because I mean, we are looking. I mean, you look at this picture here. Let me try to put it. You look at this picture here. I mean, this is the queue. Like this is insane. Like this is just. Let me. I got a better one here for you.
that's cool.
It's like in what's in that giant the giant banner there with I forgot what her name is there. But the giant banner there, that actually is a video screen. And
Mm,
she's on there doing all kinds of stuff. This is one cue and it's in absolutely incredible. Like I this just blows me away. I mean,
yeah,
it's
that's amazing, yeah.
and my brother saw it firsthand and was like, "Wow, this is." And he doesn't do like thrill attractions. That's not really his thing. But he went and checked out the queues, and they are incredible. Look at if you really want to see you want to you don't mind spoilers. Look at the queue for Monsters Unchained. I mean, it looks absolutely just amazing. Like again, I don't want to give a full review, like say this is bad, this is not good, this is good, this is
Yeah, I
good.
think
I don't
wait
wanna
till it's
do that
open, but
because I want to wait until it opens because it's a discredit to all the people that are working hard
yeah.
to make this thing happen. And So, and I've seen people giving reviews and
Yeah, I mean, you can review on a soft opening, come on.
exactly, exactly,
It's not
exactly.
meant to be, it's the
Yeah, it's like going and reviewing a restaurant the first day it opened. I mean, come on, like, it may not be the best because, they just opened. But, um, so far what I see is absolutely incredible, and I'm blown away, and as soon as the option became available to purchase the tickets for the pass or preview, I didn't even blink at the I mean, it could have been, I mean, luckily it wasn't a couple $100, but it could have been, you know, more than a day's ticket, and I would have just bought it. I didn't even blink. I mean, I didn't even waste any time. That was it's just a no-brainer. Um, so I'm extremely excited to go. I'm extremely excited to be immersed in these worlds. If you've seen any of the photos, and I'll I'll try to be as spoiler free as possible, I guess. But I mean, you can look at the photos and see. But what they've done, I mean, everyone pretty much knows about the portals, and the portals themselves are just incredible. I mean, going to the warp tunnel to get to Super Mario or Super Nintendo World, going to the portal to get to Isle of Burke, getting to all these different places, Ministry of Magic, like that's something that I think Universal does very well, and they started with, oh, what was it? Diagon Alley, because when
Mhm.
you
Yeah,
enter sort of this nondescript building, and then you enter into Diagon Alley, and I remember the first time I went in there, I looked around and I was like, "Am I at Universal anymore? Like, is this
yeah.
Universal? Like, what is this?" And that's the exact feeling I know that I'm going to have when I step into these different immersive lands. It's this just being surrounded by the scenery and being put into that, and I'm extremely excited for that. Disney does that very well.
I'm very jealous, I'm very jealous, so
I'm not saying Disney doesn't do that either, but,
Mhm.
Universal is really doing a good job of that right now, so I'm definitely excited to see that.
Awesome.
So go online if you want to. There's tons of videos. People have been I mean, they did media previews this past weekend, so you can find whoever your favorite, YouTuber is on Disney, except for me. I know we're your favorite YouTubers on Disney YouTubers, but we didn't get invited. Maybe next time. But, don't look at our channel, but look at other channels. Um, but go and check because there's tons of videos. You can see some of these cues. You can see all this stuff. But you will absolutely be blown away by what you see in some of these shows and I was never a fan of How to Train Your Dragon. It never even was on my radar. But after seeing I don't know if you've seen it, but the actual toothless character that walks and lets you
Mm.
pet him and is just one of the coolest things I've ever seen, and, like, I just want to hug it so bad. Um, I have to watch the movies now. I told my daughter, like, before we go, we have to prepare. We have to watch some of these films and get ourselves ready so we can really be immersed in the story. So, I'm really excited. This is going to be, I mean, they gave it the right name. It's gonna be epic.
Oh, I know, that's true, right, it's epic.
So and everybody that's coming out of it is saying that it's epic as well. So, these are the type of, additions to the Orlando area, and I think, we're really gonna see major investments, into the parks because, it's I think from a business standpoint, movies and things like that, we used to have box office and things like that. That used to be a big deal. And I think times have really changed, especially with streaming services like Disney Plus
Mhm.
and all these other services where you're paying $9.99 a month to watch, you can watch Iron Man a million times where it used to be if you wanted to watch it a million times, you had to pay every time you went to the
Yeah.
theater. So there's a lot less money coming in from the I think from the movie side of things, but the parks and attractions, the experiences, things like that, that puts you into these, experiences, that's where the money is, and that's where is what's getting people to come out, and, I think there's going to be a lot of investment in all the parks around the world, whether that be Universal or Disney. It's
Mhm.
going to be major, major, major investments, and we're going to see these stories that we watched on the screen really come to life
Yeah, that's nice.
in front of us. So it'll be really awesome to see that happen. So that I think is going to do it for this week's show. I know I kind of kept the show short this week, but I'm still working on um on getting everything getting myself
Yeah.
healed and
Mhm.
everything else. But I think that's gonna do it for this week's. I want to thank you guys for joining us this week. I know we have people that are watching us live here. We really appreciate you, and we really appreciate you sticking with us, and being there with us every week and enjoying our show. And next week, Michael will be on, so we'll have some great conversations. It's always fun when he's on there. Of course, we always love it when Luel is on as well because we get have a lot of fun and we get a nice input from California,
Mhm.
which is amazing as well. And I promise you, I will make it out for the 70th, and you're gonna have to show me around.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but I think that's gonna do it for this week's show. We love you guys. Did you have anything else you wanted to add before I round things out here?
No, no, I'm glad to hear that you're healing properly, and that way, when you do go to Epic Universe, you can, you could, because you're going to be
Yeah,
standing in those lines. So, like, just you
I
have to be strong.
know.
You have to be strong.
I'm
Physically strong.
I would say I'm more concerned. I'm working hard. See, so when I was healing, my I legitimately, and this is gonna sound crazy, um, two things. Number one, when I posted on Facebook about what was going on, um, people were telling me to rest, and the number one comment that I got was Disney can wait
Yeah.
because they all know I'm always there. They're like,
Yeah.
you need to take a break. It'll still be there, and I was like, okay. But
Yeah.
my legitimate goal was to work hard to get better so that I could experience Epic Universe, especially with it coming up close, and I'm really
Yeah.
working hard to get to that point. So I'm excited for that. It'll be awesome to see that. I've waited a long time for this. I mean, it was announced many moons ago.
Mhm.
So it'll be really nice to see that. But yeah, we're excited. It's gonna be awesome. And I want to thank you guys for joining us this week. This has been the Mouse Minds podcast. Make sure you subscribe to us on all your favorite platforms. And also make sure that you watch us live on YouTube every week at 8:30 on Tuesdays. And of course, we uh, put the podcast up every week at 5 p.m. on your favorite podcasting platform, whatever that may be. So, that being said, it's been awesome. Thank you guys, and we will see you next week.